Tristram Shandy by the clergyman Lawrence Stern is one of the earliest novels published serially between 1759 and 1767. It is also, by far, one of the most radical novels. If you're unsure if you have permission to do something in your work, it's likely that Stern has already done it. Tristram Shandy is a rollicking, hilarious, frustrating, and deeply felt book. One spun around a series of jokes and lexicographical tricks and digressions so hilarious that even though the book begins with his own misbegotten conception, Tristram Shandy doesn't even get around to describing his birth until volume 3. Stern so wholeheartedly appropriated others' texts while lampooning them that he was accused of plagiarism. We're still writing shocking manifestos about appropriation. Again, Stern is more modern than we are. Part of why this novel is rightly famous is for how cleverly Stern incorporated image into his book. As in chapter 38, when he excites the reader's imagination by describing the luscious widow Wadman, and then invites the reader to pick up his pen and ink and draw the woman on the blank page opposite, making her as like the reader's own wife or not, depending on his conscience. Stern is deliberately undermining the solemnity with which we regard the authorship of books. He's acknowledging the importance of the reader's own imagination in the construction of the book. And, best of all, the thing that makes me hoot in glee, he is inviting the reader to be overtly complicit in the adulterous feelings of lust aroused by the widow's description. The page, however, that most clearly demonstrates the entire project of the book, the page that makes me love Stern desperately, is his infamous motley emblem page. This is a sheet of marbled paper that comes in volume 3, the scene, remember, in which Tristram is finally born. Read, 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 my unlearned reader, Tristram exhorts the reader just before the marbled paper, for, without much reading, by which my reverence knows, I mean much knowledge, you will no more be able to penetrate the moral of the next marbled page, motley emblem of my work, than the world with all its sagacity has been able to unravel the many opinions, transactions, and truths which still lie mystically hid under the dark veil of the black one. On the basic surface level, it's funny that he's exhorting the reader to read a mute page. Further, reading is the source of knowledge. Knowledge allows one to see through death into a truth otherwise hidden. This page is put by Tristram Shandy himself in direct opposition to death. This page represents the book, and both book and page celebrate life. There are two further reasons why this page is revolutionary. The first is that marbled paper came from the Middle East and wasn't commercially introduced into England until the 1770s. As you'll remember, Tristram Shandy was first published in the 1750s. That means that this marbled paper in these books was the newest possible technology, unfamiliar to most of the readers of the book, and that every piece of marbled paper in the first few editions had to be made by hand. Each book had its own unique piece of art in it. What Stern is saying with this marbled paper is something he could not say any more clearly in words. That he was a genius, using techniques in this book that were centuries ahead of his time. It's as if we were to open the next David Mitchell book to find Obi-Wan Kenobi in hologram speaking to us. Likewise, and here for this reader is the real dagger to the heart, as each modeled page is unique, so is every person's read of this book. Every single person who holds the book is holding a different version of it. Now, subjectivity in the reader is something we take for granted these days. But back in the 18th century, when Lawrence Stern was writing, it was not. Knowledge was considered objective, something that one mastered, and books were the means by which educated people gained knowledge. Perhaps Stern did not invent the idea of subjectivity in relation to art, but he sure was in the vanguard.